So if you've been experimenting with practicing minor chords or maybe learning a new song, you may have stumbled across the chord of B minor and wondered if there is an easier way to play it. Now, although this is a natural named chord, in other words, it's not a sharp or a flat chord, it's the same as, say, playing D minor or playing E minor or playing A minor. It's a natural note name for the chord. But unfortunately, there's no way of playing the B minor chord successfully in the open position. So that leads us to two common ways in which you would normally play that chord: by taking an A minor shape, refretting it, moving it up by a whole tone and applying a bar, or by taking an E minor chord shape, refretting that to free up the first finger, moving that all the way up and barring at the 7th fret. So you have the A minor shape and the E minor shape. And those are the common two shapes or voicings that people will use to play a B minor chord. But as you've seen, they are quite troublesome to be able to play. So what if I told you there were some chord hacks that you could employ to enable you to achieve the B minor chord a lot easier than playing one of those rather troublesome bar shapes? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some very effective hacks for playing B minor. And I like to look at this shape as being a slightly abbreviated version of that classic A minor bar shape, which we find at the 2nd fret. Now that shape is pretty hard for you to fret, but it's a really nice sounding shape. Now, it is possible to still use that chord voicing, but just eliminate the bar. Instead of holding right across all 5 strings from the A string to the top E, we can simply play the top E with our first finger and then bring our thumb over to mute out the bottom strings. It's also quite cool if you try to eliminate too much movement with your picking hand. I also quite like the fact that we haven't got the root note too low in the chord. The root note is in fact on the G string at the 4th fret. And it gives the chord a little bit more sparkle, and it kind of sits its frequency in the chord a little bit more in the upper register. So I think that really suits the sound of the acoustic guitar. So the fingering and the fret positions that you're going to be playing: 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the D, your little finger on the 4th fret G, your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the B, and your 1st finger on the top E at the 2nd fret. Now, something you can actually do is try playing an A minor chord, but refretting it so that you are only using your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers, and try moving between those two chords, and get used to being able to shift up, put down the 1st finger, and also apply the mute with the thumb so that you still get a nice clean chord. Of course, you can just practice that chord using strums. And I would always advise to practice chords with chord arpeggios when you're getting used to them, just to make sure that you're not muting out any of the notes that you require to play the chord. So there we have a really cool hack for playing the B minor chord using an alternative fingering for that A minor bar shape. That's simply eliminating the bar, still playing that note on the top E at the 2nd fret, but bringing the thumb in to mute out those unwanted strings. As I said, you can practice moving between A minor using that, keeping the same finger shape and moving up, or try swapping the shape over from an open position A minor using the traditional finger shape to you can also relate this shape to the 3-finger variation of the B minor chord, simply dropping the 3rd finger down onto the D string and adding the little finger. Okay, so there we have our chord hack for a 4-note version or 4-string version of the B minor chord.